All right, thanks everybody for joining us. It's Megan here, the VoIP Brand Manager at Soft Solutions. The purpose of today's quick bite-sized webinar is to look at the proof of concept of trials and how they work, how you can use best practice to ensure efficiency for your customers. So just running through our agenda for today, we're going to run through what has changed with the trial licenses, how to create your trial licenses with best practice, the proof of concept upgrades, moving from a trial license to a live license, some key bits of advice, and we'll wrap up with a Q&A. If you have questions throughout, please feel free to pop them in the chat and I will answer those towards the end of the webinar. Or if after the webinar you still have questions, feel free to drop me a message. The webinar is being recorded and will be up on our YouTube as well. All right, so what has changed with trial licenses? You'll recall about a year ago, licensing was 45 days of a professional trial, and then it dropped down to a standard license. This has changed. Customers can only now get a standard 8 simultaneous call trial license, or the free license, from the 3CX website. Until they are associated with a partner, they cannot get a trial for professional or enterprise. This is 3CX's way of trying to push all trial licenses back to their partners and ensuring that the partner is able to take people through the trial process journey. So if you're creating a trial, and we'll go through this, it will be linked to your partner ID. If a trial is downloaded from the website, it's not linked to anybody, and they are encouraged and urged to connect with a partner, and that's part of the leads process as well. There is a new thing called proof of concept, or POC, that allows 3CX partners to upgrade licenses for 60 days to professional or enterprise and to the number of simultaneous calls that you require. This was previously the 45-day trial at the beginning, and that's gone. You want to create all of your trials from your partner portal, so they're automatically linked. Also gives you oversight of the trial because effectively it is a live full license. When you're setting up the trial, it is absolutely imperative that you give valid customer details at the trial process. If you use your own partner domain name, etc., 3CX will cancel that trial, and they have a tool that goes through checking for that. The reason behind that is that there are hundreds and thousands of trial licenses out there just sitting in no man's land, not being used, taking up space on the 3CX servers. So they're just trying to tighten everything up and ensure that it's nice and tight. For our partners that have their 3CX licenses as hosted, once it becomes a live license, you can go in and edit the contact details within the management console. So there's no problems with changing that to you down the track once it's a live license. And the trial license is a fantastic sales tool. So it's something that you should really take advantage of. So how to create a trial license? It's all done in your partner portal from the keys menu. And this is what it looks like. I've literally taken this from, we've got a dummy portal set up. So I've taken these screenshots to show you the process. You can see the keys menu on the left-hand side, and you can see I've highlighted around the nice blue create try license button. So literally you go into keys, click on the create try license, and then you're presented with a screen asking you to put in your customer's details. For the purposes of this exercise, my daughter has just become a 3CX license holder. And I have blanked out, I used her real email and phone number address for this. But this just gives the information that's going to appear in that trial license, and that the customer has agreed that you will register them for this trial. So that's to cover GDPR and the European market. Once you're in, you've got two options. So you've got self-host in your cloud, which is probably the most common use scenario today, or the more traditional on-premise. Now, I'm going to walk you through two trials. The first is an on-premise setup to show you the 3 steps involved with that, and then I'll take you through the self-host in your cloud setup because there's just a couple of extra questions in there and there's some relevant information to share. So step 2, when you are setting up an on-prem situation, is to give it a host name. So in this case, I've just used my daughter's name. You can use a customer name. By default, you will be on 3cx.co.nz for your domain, and you'll be in the domain group of Oceania. So that's all default because you're a New Zealand 3CX partner. And then literally the final step is you're presented with the option to download your Linux, Windows or Raspberry Pi edition of 3CX. That is how simple it is to create a trial license. And when you click finish, your trial license is in your keys menu. Just jumping back to step 2 on the PBX Express. So this is the hosted option. In here, you are asked to select your country, which is already populated by default. I actually didn't change the time zone when I took the screenshot, so obviously you can change that time zone, and that you want English as your standard language, so that's slightly different to the other one. Step 3 on the PBX Express is exactly the same, selecting your host name for your domain. And then we come to step 4. Again, this is different to on-prem. You have to choose your extension length. Now, by default, that's on 2 digits, which is a maximum of 99 extensions for that PBX. We always suggest changing it to 3 digits. That gives you 999 extensions, so you're well and truly covered. Just for that odd customer that's in that larger space, and you know, they might have so many meeting rooms, etc., that their extensions do tick over 100. So really important to select that at the outset. Then it will ask you to choose your cloud provider. So the drop-down menu gives you your options there of Google, OVH, Amazon, AWS or Lightsail, your VPS cloud provider or Microsoft Azure. So those options are just there. And then you're prompted to log into your cloud hosting and complete the deployment, and the PBX Express is done. So it's that simple to set up a trial license. When you come back into your keys menu, once that's set up, your new trial license will sit down the bottom here where you'll see I've highlighted. They all come in by default as a 3CX standard free 8 simultaneous call license. You can see the one that I've got there is the one that I have just set up yesterday. Next, you have your buttons out the side of your license. The button we're interested in here is the More, which has a drop-down option for your self-host, or POC, which is proof of concept. So in this case, we're clicking on POC because we want to upgrade this license for our customers to use it. So a pop-up window appears in the middle of your screen, and you can choose to go to the professional or enterprise. When you pop it up, it'll be on standard 8. You can choose your simultaneous call count, and then there's an option to put a comment. Now, it's not compulsory to put a comment, but it is highly helpful for the 3CX ANZ team. Yilmaz and Sebastian do monitor these, and if they see an opportunity where they think you might need some customizations or that they can offer some guidance, they'll give you a call. So they are actively monitoring these to see if they can help with the license opportunities that you're working on. Once you click Approve POC, your trial is upgraded for the next 60 days. Now, of note, these trials cannot be extended past their 60 days. So only do the proof of concept process when you're ready to do the testing with your customer. The fact that it's instant, you don't have to wait for 3CX to approve it, means that you can get those trials rolled out very quickly, which is really effective. So one of the most common queries that I receive is how to move from a trial license to a live license. And there's lots of myths out there because things have been done differently over the years. There is no need to change the license key when your client is ready to go live. You place your order for a new license with our team, either on the reseller portal or via email or phone to our admin team. And when you place that order, it's really important that you advise our team you have an existing trial license and give them the license key number, which is your 16-digit license key number. Our team will then process your order for a new license, making that trial key live. When you receive confirmation from our team that the license has been processed, you pop into the management console of your 3CX license and refresh the key. It then moves from the trial license across to a live license with its 365-day countdown. If you are choosing to host that license, it's at that point that you can also change the contact details in the management console. So key pieces of advice is to follow the best practice that I've just shown you. Trial licenses are very effective, and the key thing is they must have valid, correct customer details, or you risk that license being cancelled, which could be highly embarrassing for you. Customers have to be working with a 3CX partner to be able to fully evaluate the solution. This is a clear change, and it's a clear indication of the value that 3CX is putting on their partners. And this is something that we've advocated for, and we're really pleased to see, because people just being able to evaluate the software on their own, they can't give it a true evaluation. They need your expertise, and that's why your teams are technically trained, etc. The POC, or proof of concept, allows you to upgrade that and demonstrate that full functionality. You'll recall previously under the previous system, it was a bit of a rigmarole to get through to an enterprise trial license. Now it's all simple, it happens instantly and really easy. And the other thing from your technical team's perspective is it keeps the license management tidy. There's no need for multiple license keys for one customer. There's nothing worse than looking at your keys list or the instance manager if you're using Linux and having multiple licenses for the same customer and not knowing which is their live license, which is a dead trial license, all those kind of things. And it just gets messy. So by keeping it all nice and tidy and following the best practice, it actually makes your team's life easier as well. And that, in a nutshell, is how trial licenses work, how you create them, and what the best practice is for keeping them tidy, as well as tuning them into a live license. So thank you very much for joining me this afternoon just to run through this important piece of information around 3CX. If you have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat now. As always, you can reach out to us on voice@softsoul.co.nz or to myself directly, of course, Megan at softsoul.co.nz. I'll just give you a couple of moments in case there are any questions. No, it doesn't look like it. So once again, thank you for joining us. If you have any questions after this, feel free to reach out. We'll pop the video up so that it's there for the future, and then we will go from there. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks again for joining us today.